AB got the tech?
I know. Wait, what?
I got the tech?
I didn't know that.
Oh,
well, first of
no.
all,
I know.
let's not make it anything that it's not. It was just a good play on the basketball. I'm not sure what the refs saw to upgrade it. I don't think any of those blocks were too obvious. You know, you look at the stat sheet, it's like, oh wow, 4, but you know, you can get your hand on there and help your teammate out. It makes the world of a difference. So, yeah. After watching the initial whatever happened during the play and then whatever happened after, you know, we watch a lot of basketball. It's a take foul to put them at the free throw line or rather give up 2 points. You know, I've watched a lot of basketball in my life. That's exactly what it was. I wasn't trying to do anything malicious. That's not the type of player I am.
41 fouls combined and a double technical that shocked the arena. Why was this Fever versus Sky match one of the wildest WNBA games we've seen this season? At that point, the time had arrived. On one such play, Caitlin Clark was attempting to protect REESE when she called a personal foul. However, after reviewing the footage, the officials ultimately came to the conclusion that it was a serious violation.
So the second I saw Caitlin Clark foul Angel REESE, REESE fall to the ground, REESE get up and get in Caitlin Clark's face, it was obvious what all the discussion points and talking points would be about, despite the Fever's rout of the Sky. I mean, it was not a contest. Caitlin Clark gets a triple-double. DeWanna Bonner moves to 3rd all-time in WNBA scoring history, and the Fever looked better defensively and rebounding. Because really, the storyline, you know, from a basketball play standpoint, was that the Fever didn't even play their best, and they blew the Sky off the floor.
After then, there was a significant shift in the atmosphere. It would be possible to scatter it all over the arena. As Angel REESE clapped back straight back, clearly insulted by the impact, their pride struggle was almost audible on the court. REESE was plainly upset by the collision. Within the second, the audience had become thoroughly engrossed and was increasing their volume. It was necessary for the referees to interfere and call technical fouls in order to maintain discipline. This was in addition to dealing with REESE and Clark. The first one was insufficient. Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston were each given double technicians as the situation became increasingly dire.
Is that a part of your game that you've been working on the postseason? Are we going to see more blocks out of you as your career rolls on?
Not really something you can work on.
Okay. This is for Caitlin. Triple-double today. Not the first one in your career, but you had 4 blocks out there. That's more than you ever had in college. Matches your WNBA career high. Felt like you were channeling the spirit of Gabby Marshall out there with the blocks.
I don't know. I felt like I had active hands. I had some pokes when our post players were playing good defense, and you know, coaching staff has just challenged me to try to be a better defender every single practice and just getting better in that area. I still feel like there's a lot of room for me to improve.
People who did not agree with the decisions made by the referee were generally critical of the decisions that were made. Continuing without pausing, the commentator made the following observation. As is customary, the referees were not making the appropriate calls. It added a new dimension of drama to the situation and provided the officials with legitimacy, making them appear as though they were a part of the story. There is a purpose behind the use of this profanity. It was a close relationship. Right at this moment, having respect and making a statement were more essential than winning or having something concrete in one's possession. The fact that these two aggressive basketball players were arguing with each other suggested that this was about more than simply the game. Did REESE and Clark ever have a history together? I couldn't agree more. There was a struggle for dominance between two different parties in this battle. The fact that the story did not come to an end here is the most interesting aspect about it. The Fever were adamant about not having the anarchy govern them. They maintained a state of complete and utter concentration. Then, we shall discuss that further. This speaks to something about the path that this group is going to take in the future.
But they also won't be pushed around, which you saw in the midst of this, and the moral of the story is both Clark and REESE said, let's move on after the fact, showing that it was part of the competitive spirit and the way that the game is played. Now, when you do look at the play itself and everything that took place, here is exactly what Caitlin Clark and Angel REESE had to say, and sometimes it can get physical at times. But the real problem, the thing that it's going to be hard for the rest of the league to move on from, is how dangerous the Fever look. Now,
consider the possibility that the Indiana Fever emerge victorious from the most exciting moment of the game, rather than falling. However, who exactly were the Fever? the spotlight was directed toward Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Stillness was the only thing they did. What kind of composure can a group achieve while they are under such pressure? It is with Stephanie White that all gets started for the Fever. Discipline and concentration are emphasized in her teaching approach, and it is proving to be effective. As a result of White's leadership, this squad is participating in a different activity this year. Everyone is aware of their own responsibilities, and she is establishing a standard in which one is always prepared and never becomes frightened. The 2 technical fouls that kicked off the entire sequence should be brought back into the discussion. After Caitlin Clark committed a particularly heinous foul, Aaliyah Boston was apprehended, and Angel Reese became quite enraged. It was as if the authorities were attempting to put out a fire by calling 2 technical fouls, but this did not assist to diffuse the situation from its current state. The level of anxiety on the court was as high as it had ever been. These kinds of overwhelming feelings have the potential to bring down an entire team. However, it will not be the case on this particular instance. The Fever were able to keep their heads straight despite the fact that the world around them appeared to be falling apart. Following those technical fouls, the Fever did not waste any time in illustrating why they should be keeping an eye on them. They appeared to be prepared for such an assault, as evidenced by the fact that they increased their defenses. Neither one of them became angry, nor did they start making exaggerated statements about nothing. Rather than that, they reared their heads and increased their output. Think about the possibility that the Fever would have failed in such a manner during the previous season. Under those conditions, where feelings were running high and keeping one's calm was becoming increasingly difficult, they would have lost their bearings and committed a great deal of errors. On the other hand, this season is brand new from the beginning. The remarkable development that they have made in their defense is not at all in any way a coincidence. This result was realized as a result of the preparedness and momentum of their early program. Not only do they want to win a lot of games this season, but they also want to build up their confidence for the upcoming challenges that are more challenging. This Fever team appears to be well prepared to compete against the Lynx, Liberty, and Aces. Just think about what they could accomplish in the postseason if they were able to turn this kind of chaos into dominance in a game like this one. Are there any mentions of Caitlin Clark anywhere? She is the source of their power to motivate others. It's possible that her ability to handle the tension of the situation is the key to this Fever squad's unbeatable success. Furthermore, the Fever's triumph in this game symbolized more than just the continuation of their winning streak. Caitlin Clark demonstrated that she provides the missing spark for the squad by delivering the high level of passion and zeal that supports their dominant performance. Those who were opposed to her stated that she was going to come in and take that foul because she wanted all the smoke. Even in tough settings, her brutality establishes a baseline. The answers of the Fever demonstrate their competitiveness. In the event that they are able to shine in such a setting, just think about what they are capable of doing when there are significantly higher stakes involved. Would you be interested in more when the WNBA gets more intense?